Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Hey, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
And this is the Viewers Anonymous podcast. What's going on with you, buddy?
Man, I can't call it, man. Another day on the earth, man, so I can't complain. So how about yourself, man? How you feeling, man? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you gave us some news last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get the results?
Yeah, tested positive.
God damn it.
Yeah,
how you feeling, though?
That's not indicative of how I feel. I just was laughing.
Yeah.
But no, I feel good, man. I'm good, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing major. It ain't nothing to be up in arms about, man. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And truth be told, man, it's really not as bad as they tried to make it seem. But that's just me. I can't really speak for nobody else, but I'm doing great, man. I ain't got no complaints.
That's what's up, man. I know. But
you know, some time I work, so you know what I'm saying? That's cool too.
Well, I mean, I'm off tomorrow, but it ain't for no COVID. But but that's what's up, man. So hopefully, I mean, you was one of the lucky ones, man. You know, so can't. It's like the only thing to me. I mean, I ain't trying to have this conversation, but to me, it's just like everybody's immune system is different, yo.
100%.
And I think that. You know how people will make fun of people? They'd be like, "Oh man, you know, you ate this, you didn't wash your hands, or this, that." I just think that a lot of it, man, is when like, especially when you're a kid, like you get a lot of germs in you when you're a kid, especially when you played outside and shit. You should drink out the water hose, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? You would do anything when you was outside, and I think that shit builds your immune system. I ain't gonna lie. That's just my theory. I just think you build your immune system when you were a kid, and you just. These kids nowadays, they don't be outside as much as we used to be outside. And I just feel like a lot of that, man, built our immune system up to where we can handle some shit like that. So I'm glad you're feeling good. Glad you're feeling great. But you mentioned something last week, which I'm glad you did. And I remembered something after the pod. You know, I'm going to say it today. You mentioned the passing of Melvin Van Peebles. You know, rest in peace to everybody. But also, man, rest in peace to A.J. Johnson, man.
Yeah, man, we lost another. We lost
another great comedian, man.
Yeah, and then great comedic actor too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Players Club got the hookup. Friday, you know what I'm saying? He was in Panther. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, he had a house party. He didn't say nothing, but he was in it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I remember we talked about that one. Like, man, we didn't even know he was in there. So
follow the drip.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people that, you know what I'm saying, that he's worked with, man. There's a bunch of movies he's been in, whether it's been major roles or, you know what I'm saying, just side roles. Shout out to Master P for giving them, you know what I'm saying, that starting role. I'm just talking like he in sports. But that lead role, man. Yeah, and I got the hookup, man. You know what I'm saying? He played Blue and I got the hookup, and you know what I'm saying? It was just you know what I'm saying? He did a great job in Players Club too. You know what I'm saying? So that was also one of them movies that, you know what I'm saying, you can remember him from. But everybody, of course, knows him from Friday, playing Ezel, the crackhead. You know what I'm saying? That was the funniest. That probably was his funniest role. The funniest thing he's ever done to me in that movie. I know everybody talk about my neck and my back. Now that's not the funniest part. The funniest part of the whole movie is when Bernie Mac get caught sleeping with Miss Parker, and Tony, I forgot what his real name is. I know his first name is Tony, but he played Mr. Parker. And Mr. Parker come outside and start chasing him out. After they go back in the house and they arguing, and Mr. Parker was throwing out all the clothes, Ezel came and stole all the clothes and ran off. I don't know why that was funny to me, bro, but like that was real live, like crackhead, you know what I'm saying, behavior. Like the fact that all this commotion going on and this nigga made sure he took his time to go get them clothes and steal them. So that was to me, that was the funniest part that he ever had in Friday.
Bro. Hey, for me, my funniest part is when he came over to watch Smokey car and Smokey was taking his shit upside down. he said, look, I ain't the smartest man in the world, but from over here, look like you taking the shit. He's like, help. He's like, hey, you didn't call it, huh? He's like, I cleaned all that shit up for you for $2. I was like, yo, but that shit was hilarious, bud. Yeah, man. Rest in peace to him, man. I hate to see it, man. The crazy thing is, and we can get started, but like the amount, I think it's up to 9 people who have died from the cast of Friday, dude. Like,
yeah, man,
it is insane. I mean, John Witherspoon. I mean, do you really want to add him? He was older. You know what I mean? He was, the oldest person.
So was Ronaldo Ray.
Yeah. He was older too. So, but I don't know, man. It's crazy to think that many people have died from that cast, man. So rest in peace to everybody, man. I just wanted to mention that. That's something we've been doing. We have a movie podcast. We feel it's our responsibility to highlight these people who are legends that passed away. So I ain't even gonna lie, dude. I know I say this all the time. I ain't even gonna front. I'm really, really excited to do this movie we got today. Hey, I was telling somebody in my route today. I told them, I was like, yo, we doing Butterfly Effect. They was like, why would you do that? I said, because I do the podcast with the dude that has the greatest fucking conspiracy. And I said, yo, this shit is gonna be wild.
Yeah, man.
I said, we talking about time travel. We talking about, what I'm saying? I said, yo, I'm excited for this, man. Because this movie, I have seen, listen to me. Let me tell you how crazy I am about this movie. And I don't really talk about this to a lot of people. So first of all,
this is a wild movie to even talk about to begin with.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And it's like, so we're doing the 2004 film, The Butterfly Effect. But the thing is, this was a New Line Cinema movie, right? And they used to do this thing with a DVD back in the day called a Film or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So when you bought the DVD
and stuff on it,
exactly, they'll be talking like throughout the movie. I even watched it on that.
Oh, okay. That was like a podcast before podcast was really popping, though, too.
It kind of was. It kind of was because like as the movie was going through, they was telling you, yo, when we shot this was going on and this, and we didn't even know this was going to happen. And so they're telling you all the inside stuff and during the filming. Dude, I'm into this movie, dude. I really am. And I know how your mind can go sometimes. And it's like, yo, this is going to be fucking fun to do.
Yeah, man. For me, bro, like the first time seeing this movie, it weirded me out because I was used to seeing Ashton Kutcher as
in a comedic role.
Yeah, I was used to seeing him as Kelso, you know what I'm saying, in that 70s show. So, you know what I'm saying, seeing him in this and all of the events that transpired with everything. And then on top of that, like, you know what I'm saying, dude is in college and he blacking out, going back to the past, you know what I'm saying, like off of reading notebooks and watching videos and stuff like that. Like, it was just something that was different, man. And then, like, I remember when the trailer came out, it looked like a horror movie. So that's what I thought it was at first. But then I didn't realize this ain't a horror movie. This is something totally different. Like, this is out the realm for me. So seeing this, man, it just got me excited. It made me start looking into the actual butterfly effect and all, you know what I'm saying, the conspiracy behind all that and everything else. So, yeah, man, it's just, this was the one. This was definitely the one.
It was, man. Like, and the cast was, it was cool, but your big names, Ashton Kutcher, Amy Smart, Eldon Henson, I seen him in some stuff. William Lee Scott, I seen him in some stuff. But basically, like, the rundown is, it's like it was this kid that it was kind of like he had a hereditary, I don't want to call it a disease, but like this mind thing, because his dad ended up having it as well. And so basically it was the dude and his mom, and he got a couple of friends, and he would have blackouts where he wouldn't remember things that has occurred. And the doctor said that, maybe he should start keeping a journal, writing down things that he done. And maybe it'll help with his memories and his blackouts and stuff. And so he ended up basically from one traumatic thing that happened in the town, which I'm sure we'll get to. His mom thinks it's a great idea to move, and he moves away. 7 years go by. He has no blackouts during those 7 years, but during that time, he met a girl at a bar, and she pulled out his journals, and then he started reading the journal, and then he went back into a memory by reading the journal, and so then he realized that he could change things that happened when he would go back and actually, well, he went to investigate to make sure that these memories that he was having was real. So
then he
went
realized
back.
he could change the past.
Yeah, and then then we went on a whirlwind,
man.
After that fucking shit. I don't even know where to start, my guy. There's so much fucking shit here, and like you said, this is even a crazy movie to even talk about from the jump. So I don't even know where to start. Where do you want to start, man?
Man, let's start with Kaylee and Tommy, bro. You know what I'm saying? The issues that they was going through first. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that's dope. That's dope.
So real quick synopsis, man. Kaylee and Tommy, brother and sisters. They all, you know what I'm saying, was friends with Evan and Lenny. But their mom and dad ended up splitting up. They ended up living with their dad. Not only did that happen, on top of, you know what I'm saying, the breakup, Tommy was going through it because, you know what I'm saying, everybody looked at him like a fuck up. So he ended up doing some stuff that he wasn't supposed to do. I think he burned up Evan's dog or something like that, set Evan's dog on fire. And then Kaylee was, you know what I'm saying, being molested by her dad and forced to do it on film and like all this kind of crazy stuff. So they was going through like real trauma as kids. So it's not like, and this is why I say this movie to me was, it was so wild, because seeing this in 2004, and it's not like this is just these two, it's all four of these kids. You know what I'm saying? They end up blowing up a woman and her baby with dynamite. Like, who the fuck has dynamite as kids? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a whole bunch of stuff that ends up happening in this movie. But Kaylee and Tommy in general, they had a lot of childhood trauma, and they had the option to go live with their mom. But you know what I'm saying, we find out later on that the reason that they stayed was because, you know what I'm saying, Kaylee wanted to stay because of Evan. You know what I'm saying? Evan was the person that kind of made her feel better about herself and everything else. So, yeah, man, it's for me, I think that these two characters is really what this whole movie is kind of centered around. I know it's supposed to be about Evan and what he's doing, but to me, I looked at it like it was really centered around them, because Evan was in love with Kaylee, but he also kind of had beef with Tommy. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Lenny was kind of like, he was kind of like the third wheel in this whole situation, for real. But for the most part, I think that it was the dynamic of Evan, and then Evan and Kaylee, and Evan and Tommy. How you feel about it?
I agree with you. And the thing that usually, especially when you're around the age they were, you know, when they got the team, well, he already had a thing against Evan, because I don't think he understood that when Evan had sex with Kaylee when they was 8 years old, he didn't, first of all, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. Number two, he blacked the situation out, so he didn't even know what was going on. But Tommy looked at it as like, yo, like, you messing with my sister, like, because I don't even think he even really knew what was really going on.
Yeah, not at all.
But he just knew that it was something that his sister didn't want to do, because I think he could tell his sister was uncomfortable. So he already had that beef with Evan from the rip since they was 8 years old, because he was like, yo, like, you know, you doing something with my sister that I don't like. And so that beef started from there, because they was cool up until that point. And then every time he would see Evan touch her or anything like that, Tommy goes 0 to 100. Like, yo, I don't want you fucking with my sister. And he has expressed that a lot throughout the film. But then at the same time, Kaylee lights up when Evan is around. So like you stuck in that middle ground of, yeah, my sister like him, but I don't like him because he like my sister. Like, he don't even know if he's treating his sister good or whatever. And then what they was going through,
you know what happened beforehand.
Exactly. And like what they was going through at home with their dad being a pedophile and shit, like, that's just, I mean, to add that dynamic, like I think that when it comes to the writers of this, like for them to put that in there because it makes so much sense because those two events of well, actually, it's three events. There's three major events in this movie. Is you know what I'm saying? The videotape,
right?
The burning of the dog, and the blowing up of the mailbox.
Lady,
like
them killing the lady and the baby.
Yeah, so those are the three biggest events of this movie, really. Like, I mean, there was some other shit to go down, like the whole dynamic with Evan's dad. That's a huge dynamic too. And then I got a question for you once we get there, but yeah, that and then Lenny was just the kid that they just not even they really just Tommy just bullied him. You know what I'm saying? Just do whatever he wanted him to do. So like so yeah, he really was the third wheel, but that dynamic between those two, because the thing is they never showed them have the conversation of well, I mean Tommy and Kaylee, we never seen them have the conversation about Evan. So that was kind of the thing that was missing out, because even when he went back for the first time and he changed that situation and they was actually like in college together, like for Tommy to come back the way that he came back and attack Evan the way that he did, obviously Kaylee and him never had that conversation. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like she just kind of just went off to college and they got this great relationship, but it's like, yo, when my brother's around, you know, don't touch me. It's like I thought that part was weird.
Well, I didn't, and the reason I didn't is because, like, in a sense, that was her protecting him, because she knows that, you know what I'm saying, Tommy is going, you know what I'm saying, react if he sees that, and it's not going to be in the way that, you know what I'm saying, they wanted it to. But I mean, and then you got to also remember too, like, that they was all that, you know what I'm saying, those two were all that they really had for real. So she is, in a sense, not just protecting Evan, she also protecting Tommy. So Tommy don't even have to react like that. Like, you know what I'm saying, she don't want Tommy to react like that, and she wants them to get along as much as possible, you know what I'm saying, without having that clash.
Yeah, and before we get into all the other shit, so since we're doing this character thing, so the dynamic between Evan, his mom, and his dad, right? I thought that it was very interesting. Like, moms was a straight up single mom. Like, I mean, the way they even introduced us to her was her having on one of the Michael Myers jumpsuits, fixing her own car. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? She can get under the hood and put some shit together. Like, damn, like she really doing it out here in these streets. So like, you can see that she's an independent woman. She's trying to raise Evan by herself, and she don't want to take Evan to his dad because, you know, mentally, like, he's just not stable enough. And she never really got into it. And the only reason she even took Evan to see his dad was because the doctor said that, you know, what was going on with him could be stress related. And she was like, well, he was stressing me about seeing his dad. So another thing that I thought was interesting was when he went to see his dad, he blacked out. And then woke up, his dad was choking. So what was interesting about that was, I wonder, because when he went back to talk to his dad, he was trying to ask his dad, like, what can I do to fix the situation? And I'm wondering, is that what happened when he blacked out?
100%. See, that's the biggest thing that I had got from this, right? Was like, because they kept showing us early on in the movie about how he would black out and then he would wake up, and you know what I'm saying, he would have these moments. Because remember, the same thing happened when he blacked out with Kaylee and her dad, and then he came when he went back in time. That time he was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, I know what you're doing is wrong. Like, no, we're not doing this no more. And he was trying to fix that situation. So like, I think that every time they showed us him as a kid blacking out, that was his future self coming back. They just wasn't showing us what he was doing in that moment of coming back. They was just showing us him blacking out, waking up. You know what I'm
saying? I see what you're saying, but the reason I don't think the time that he went back and called her dad a fuck bag. I don't think I don't think that went down that way, and this is why I don't think it went down that way because he continued to do what he was doing. She was always in the first life before he even left. He was molesting her. Like that was always a thing, and he was hurting her. Remember, they went to the movies and she had the bruise on her arm, and she was like, "My dad did that." So I don't think that his older self was in that part when he was 8 years old because his dad continued to do what he did. And remember when he changed
I'm saying it because I'm saying that could have been like a later situation. That didn't have to be like the very first one. You know what I'm saying? Like that could have been some shit that was when it was already happening, and he was just, you know what I'm saying, he wanted to stop it at that moment.
Yeah, but like it seemed like he never knew what happened. He never knew what happened until he went back to talk to Kaylee, like what had actually happened that day. So that was one thing that confused me when he talked to his dad. But I think that his dad knew. I think that he knew that it was hereditary, and he knew that either way it went down, no matter what.
He would have had to know then, because if he was dealing with the same thing and then he seen that happen, because remember he was like, "Whoa, kid," you know what I'm saying, you kind of spaced out, you know what I'm saying, and, you know what I'm saying, glad you're back. And then when he started actually talking to him, that's when he told him, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, it ends with me. Like that's what he was trying to tell him, like, you got to do something to me, like, so to stop, it ends with me. So yeah, I think his dad had known.
I think his dad knew. I think maybe his dad will black out situations too. And I think that once he seen that, he knew at some point that he was going to try to do the same shit that he did, because he was going to figure out a way to try time travel back to fix shit.
Right.
And so he was like, no, like, we need to end this with me because I don't want you to go through the same shit that I went through.
And look where he ended up. Look where he ended up basically.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get that because I got the theories this month.
Oh yeah, I'm saying? Get busy.
But as far as we can close it out with Lenny, like only thing with Lenny, I think that Lenny went through so much trauma that he just seeing the whole situation of the woman blowing up and the baby, and seeing that he couldn't take the thing off of the dog, that shit just traumatized him forever. Yeah, and he was never the same after that shit.
Well, my funniest moment, and it's funny, but it ain't funny. The funniest moment to me with Lenny in this whole movie is when he went back and he tried to stop the lady from getting blown up. So Lenny was the one that ran and saved the lady and knocked her down, and Evan got blown up by the mailbox, right? So this nigga wake up and was like, I thought I told y'all to leave. My man Lenny was over there slapping skin with Kaylee.
That shit was so wrong. Hey, she was just gonna date anybody that was there, dude. Like she just didn't fucking care, man.
So look, so he was like, nah, everything's cool. So then he stretched out his arms. But no, that's not why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because he woke up and said, "Ah!"
He was like, "What the
fuck?" He was so lost, but he forgot that he got blew up. Bro, you talking about comedy, bro? As a kid, I'd be crying in that, but no, Lenny, bro, when he rolled back over, that's what made me laugh super hard. He was like, "Hold on, man, I didn't mean to wake you. Did we disturb you?" He was like, "Oh no, everything's good." He like, "All right, cool." My man rolled back over in the covers, like, "Yeah, it's game time."
Oh man, that shit was crazy. But man, look, man, we got to get into the shits, man. We got to get into the shit. So Evan, so when he had the memory. And then he goes back and he talks to Lenny and figure out that, like, yo, that shit really fucking happened. And so he talked to Lenny and he tries to call Lenny back, but his mom was like, nah, like, we ain't fucking with you. Like, you know, he was so distraught, like, we don't need to bring back that trauma. So he goes back and he talks to Kaylee, see that Kaylee works at this diner. and all this type shit. So he tries to talk to her about what happened when he was 8. So he figured, okay, well, I go back and I change that situation and I tell her dad, you treat her, this kind of way, you treat her like a princess, stop touching her.
The scar on her face, right?
So what?
This is the Kaylee that had the scar on her face, right?
No. We ain't got to that one yet.
No.
So he tell her dad that you treat her like a princess, nah. But what he fucked up in this one was he said you need to discipline Tommy because that kid got some fucking problems. And so then Tommy's pissed off because, like, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna tell him to do this and see. And when that whole thing changed, when they went to college together and he was in a fraternity and all this type shit, and what he didn't understand about everything changing the way that it did was he didn't understand, like, the people that used to know you don't know that version of you. Right. Like he saw Kemp, what was his name? Kemper? What's that motherfucking name? Shit, that was his roommate. Damn, I forgot who his roommate was. So Thumper, yeah. So he see him and he fucking yells at.
I forgot about Ethan Suplee, bro.
Yeah.
He was the big guy. Remember the Titans and all that.
Remember the Titans. He buff now.
Yeah, he super buff, bro. Terry Wilson was in this joint too.
Yeah. So he see him, he's like, you know what I'm saying? He cusses him out. He's like, what the fuck? And then he goes to his psychiatry teacher and he was like, who are you? So then he started realizing, like, oh shit, like the motherfuckers that I was cool with, I ain't cool with no more.
Right.
And so then with him saying the shit about Tommy the way that he did, so Tommy is fucking pissed. Like this whole sequence of events of this first, like, dude, they went, when I tell you, they didn't stick their toe in the water with the very first time he went back. This shit went south like 0 to 100.
Because that's the one where he hit him with the
hit him with the bat.
Yeah, hit him with the bat, and then he started tearing him up.
Then this motherfucker goes to jail, my guy. Like, it's like, what the fuck? I go back, change some shit, and now I'm fucking locked up. Like that shit was mad crazy. And this motherfucker said, "Yo, this shit ain't funny." But this motherfucker said, "Shit on my dick or blood on my knife, my guy." I'm like, yo.
That's crazy.
That shit is nuts, man. This motherfucker go to jail, and the very first thing you hear is goddamn.
Just
shit on my dick.
Stab me with the knife.
Blood on my knife, dude. This shit is wild.
With the knife. I'd take the knife.
Hey, that shit is crazy. But he got lucky with the person that he was locked up with because he was a religious man that ended up helping him with the plan. And so he goes back. Okay, so we're going to stay here because I'm going too far. But as far as the first time he goes back, what stood out to you in that first time that he went back?
Honestly, just the fact that he was able to control it the way he did. Like, to me, that's not like for your first time. Like, he shouldn't be able to like catch on like that. You know what I'm saying? I thought that they should have had him like a little bit more lost, a little bit more like, I guess I could just use lost, but just a little bit more lost, like, or confused or whatever. But to me, it was like he just picked up on that way too fast for me.
Hold on, which part? When he went back as a kid and
like
college at a fuck bag?
Yeah, just going back as a kid and being able to, like, you know what I'm saying, like realize that you went back. Like, to me, if you reading something, you black out and then that happened to you for the first time, like that'll freak you out.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because I thought you was talking about like just in general, because he was lost. Like when he woke up and she was right there.
Yeah,
he was like,
I'm just saying in general though, like just going back in time and then reacting the way he was reacting. Even then, like he was still conscious of what was going on, so he should have been like lost and confused then. I know he was lost and confused waking up, because then he looking like, yo, You know what I'm saying? What the hell is going on? That was the whole point of the butterfly effect. But I'm saying like him going back, him being able to react and move and do everything in this moment of time, like to me, that would freak me out. Like if I'm reading a journal that I wrote and then I black out, next thing you know, I'm at the court playing basketball with one of my friends who about to foul me, and I look up, I'm like, wait a minute, sir, I was just 33. What happened? Why am I 16 again? You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, that to me, I just figured like that would have been a little bit more confusing and thrown off.
What I did think that was dope that that the writers did was the fact that they brought up the fact of, so like when he woke up, like he rocked before he went in, he had the shaggy hair with the shaggy beard, all this type of shit. When he woke up, he had a goatee, perfectly cut hair.
Yeah.
And he's like, the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And what I thought that was great that they did with the writing was the fact of, she asked him, like, yo, where did you learn to do that when they was having sex? She was like, yo, you're talking different, you're walking different. And see, because she's used to this version of him, but the version that she got is the one that he hasn't seen her in 7 years.
Right.
But in her eyes, like, I've been seeing you for the last, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, 13 years or whatever. And it's just like, yo, this day you've been weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did this dinner thing for me. That ain't what you do. I thought that was dope to put that in the story, because it's like, you can't just jump in, you know, when you haven't seen this person in 7 years. Now all of a sudden, boom, y'all are there and y'all in love. Like, it's gonna be some shit that you do that you normally do, and she's gonna be like, yo, like, you off, like, you ain't who you were.
100%. But also and then, you know what I'm saying, it also goes to, you know what I'm saying, show you how him going back and doing anything at that moment of time is, or anything different in that moment of time, is making drastic changes when he's coming back.
Then mom is married.
Yeah.
His mom is married in the first one.
Yeah.
The first time that he go back, because she wasn't married, and then all of a sudden he calls his mom, and then there's a dude on the answer machine, and he was like, "Mom and Chuck." He's like, you know, he was like, "Okay, Chuck guy, I don't know who the fuck you are," but you know. So I thought that was dope, and it was like, there's one thing that'll go wrong, and what went wrong is he ended up getting attacked by Tommy. Tommy hit him. Well, which was kind of weird, because it's like, look, I don't know exactly how the law works. I'm not a law professor or nothing like that, but I just thought it was odd that I'm pretty sure he had bruises where Tommy was hitting his ass with that damn bat.
Well, I mean,
so obviously
he maced the hell out of Tommy to begin with.
He did, and maybe they
punching him, and I think that started punching him. He hit him in the head with the bat, like.
And I think that's what it was. I think they were like, look, this was excessive. You could have stopped after the macing.
Bro, after you got done macing him, y'all could have just, she already hit the button. So it's time to just like get up out of there.
Yeah. So that's why he went to jail. Because it could be self-defense, but it's like, for you to take it as far as you took it, it didn't have to go that far.
Right.
So that's why you end up going to jail. You end up going to jail. And so he gets out. And this time when he goes back, he tries to change the burning of Crockett. You know what I'm saying? His dog. So he goes back, and his whole thing of this time is when he was going towards Crockett, he moved like okay, hold on. So the way the original went down, he's running towards Tommy, and Tommy picks up this board and he hits. But he missed Evan and hit Kaylee in the head this time. He hit her in the head, so she just had a scar on the head. So it wasn't noticeable. So when he went back the second time to change that situation with Crockett, when he went back, he hit Kaylee. Tommy hit Kaylee in the face this time.
She had that big ass scar.
She had that big ass scar on the side of her face. Yeah. So what this shit ended up changing was the fact that Kaylee turned out
the prostitute.
Yeah, she turned into a straight up prostitute.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, damn, this ain't the version of you that I want. like, so now he tells her what happens, and she's upset because she's like, yo, so now you telling me, she was like, I'd never be in no fucking sorority and all this type shit. And she was like, once you go back, if you change the shit, once you go back to when you fucked me when I was 8 years old. So he's like,
Yeah.
fuck. He's like, damn, no matter what I do, like I never get this shit right. He's like, so as far as this one, what was your synopsis of this time when he went back?
Well, this one was a little bit different because he was trying to basically explain to her what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like this was the one where he was trying to tell her, like, yo, like I'm changing stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to say, and then she was like, well, it don't even matter if you can or not. You know what I'm saying? Everybody think they can change something. He was like, yeah, except I got proof this time. And then remember, he was like, yeah, I know that when something happened, you know what I'm saying, your toes go numb, or you know what I'm saying, I know that you got two moles on your inner thigh, and then you know what I'm saying, I know he was just naming like all these things that nobody else, you know what I'm saying, will be able to know. And so to me, he was really trying to do something different to where he was trying to explain to her, like, listen, I'm changing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm literally changing the timeline of how we grew up, how we end up living and everything else. So that's the one thing that stuck out to me, for him to even be able to admit that this was happening.
It was because like he had said before, because like she was a partner game. She was like, yo, time is money. So he pulled out his wallet and all this type shit. And then when she took his wallet, he was like, yo, money don't matter where I'm going.
Right.
You know, like, and he tried to tell her all the shit that he's doing. And he's trying to tell her, like, yo, there was a time when we were together and we were happy and we loved each other and all this type shit. And she's so over it. She's so heroin up, all this type shit, because she's traumatized from having this huge ass scar on her face to where she, you know, she don't consider, like, dude, like for what that would do to a teenage girl, you know what I'm saying? Where all of a sudden you just got the scar, and you know how mean kids can be. People probably make fun of her. Her whole life just, you know, pretty much changed. And then, no, that was in the first. I was about to say something that happened in the first one, but like, yeah, this one was, it was shorter and it was quicker.
Yeah.
And he was just, but then the crazy part was when he went back this time, his room, his college room, flip-flop.
Yeah.
So Thumper was on the right side, he was on the left side, but when he went there, it flipped over. And so then he goes and he tries to change, which was weird. This is what was weird to me, but I guess as far as the writing, I guess they didn't want to keep doing the first one over again. So even though she said, once you change to when you know, fuck me when I was 8 years old, you would think after hearing that he would go straight to the 8-year-old one and try to change that situation again. But no, this time he's like, yo, I'm going to change the one where we blew up the lady's house.
Right.
Well, it blew up the mailbox looking house looking thing. This is what tripped me out. And I was talking to someone about this today. So you run straight to the mailbox. Tommy goes and knocks over the lady. Why in the fuck are you still standing there? Like, why are you standing in front of this mailbox when all you had to do was?
I think him seeing the lady get knocked over the way she did with the baby in her arms, because I remember watching it like and seeing that they specifically showed that part in the single shot. So then to go back and then show him sitting there looking, I think that all of that happening and then him stopping and seeing that, by the time he was even able to move, remember, it just blew up.
Yeah.
Because Tommy was still tackling the lady in the midst of all of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was just one of the moments to where he really couldn't do nothing.
Yeah. So then he wakes up, blows damn arms off. So now he's sitting there with no arms, and now she's with Lenny.
And my man so Lenny then smacking skins.
Yeah, man, Lenny getting it in, you know what I'm saying, with the long hair.
Yeah.
And so then, but what was also dope about all of these changes is, which I didn't mention earlier, was the fact of his brain grew every time. He would have these nosebleeds because his brain is getting bigger because he's adding new memories to a brain that's already pretty much not necessarily at full capacity yet,
but it's
but
just
with
full of
him,
some memories.
yeah, at this
Mhm.
point now you have two totally different realities, and now you're going into your third. So
Yeah,
your brain is hemorrhaging by adding all of this new memory, and everything that you did know is being erased, and then
right.
you know what I'm saying,
Adding new
replugging
stuff
that
in
in.
there. Yeah,
And so now this time, so all of the shit that you did know, now you have to create these new memories of now you seeing yourself with your arms getting blown off. You see yourself being a kid, well, a teenager going into an adult with no arms, and you see the
then you
visions
saying
of
Lenny
Kenny
and
and Lenny,
Kaylee. Yeah.
Kaylee, yeah, them they together, and Tommy. Now he's all religious and stuff because he felt that
Mm-hmm.
he saved the lady. So now you got this, and see with this vision, it's like I have the best quote unquote versions of my friends, but Kaylee's not with me, and I'm missing arms.
Exactly.
Like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
not staying here. Now he tried to take himself out. It was just like, man, you know what? All of y'all happy. I'll just fucking kill myself at this
Remember,
point.
but that's when he was talking to Kaylee too, and he was just saying, like, you know what I'm saying, like, what happened to us? You know what I'm saying? Did you ever want to be with me? Like, he was still trying to make sure he was getting in her head then.
Yeah, he did, and she said she was honest. She was like, yo, I thought that we would grow up, have kids, all this type shit. And she was like, but I'm with Lenny and y'all are friends, and that's where it ends.
Right.
And I think that gave him the satisfaction of, well, you know what? Everybody happy. This is the best version of Tommy I could create. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna end myself. But Tommy finds him trying to drown himself. He was like, yo, we gotta go to the hospital. He's like, yo, what happened? They moved my mom. So what happened this time with the mom? Now this motherfucker got lung cancer.
Yep.
And he's like, God damn it.
You
Yo,
gotta go back in.
now you gotta go back again. And this is when she realized you're doing the same shit your dad did. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
was at the same age. Y'all was doing the same shit where y'all felt that y'all could go back and y'all could change shit
Yeah.
that was fucked up in the past. And now she realizes in that bed, like, no, like Evan, don't do what you're doing. But he was so destined on, yo, I'm going back
And see,
and I'm
this
gonna
time,
change this.
and what I thought was weird this time is he didn't go back to his diaries. This man went back and started watching home movies.
No, 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 no. Not yet. Not
So this
yet.
ain't this one?
No. He
Okay.
goes back. He goes back, and that's when he goes back to when they was 8. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of, talking to the dad the way that he did the first time,
Mm-hmm.
he went and he gets the dynamite because now he's like, I'm gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone this time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have sex with Kaylee as an 8-year-old. Well, actually, 3 stones. I'm gonna tell him to not molest her anymore, and I'm gonna get rid of the blockbuster all in one try.
Mm-hmm.
So he had the perfect idea this time.
Right.
The execution was terrible.
Poor as hell. Yeah.
Why would you light it and then he comes over to you and then you throw it and then Kaylee picks it up? Like, it's like, what the fuck, dude? And now, this is what I really wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
Damn it, we doing it, man. At 43 motherfucking minutes. This is what this we go. Y'all think y'all heard something? Y'all ain't heard nothing yet. This is where it's at right here.
Okay.
So Kaylee picks up the dynamite. She blows up.
Mm-hmm.
So now he wakes up in a mental institution that he was in from the very beginning when his mama took him to get a brain scan.
Right.
So now all of those memories being deleted, new memories coming in, blood coming from all that type shit. So then he goes to the doctor. Same doctor when he was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in there and he says, where are my journals? And the doctor looked like, man, again? He got that look on his face like, he was like, Evan, there are no journals.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, give me my journals now. Like, I want my journals. He was like, there never was any journals. He was like, you created a world and a disease that don't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, and so he's like, what are these memories of you going to college and all this type shit. Like none of that stuff happened. Like you created this whole world in your head to get your mind to escape from the fact that you killed Kaylee. And then he was like, you remind me of your dad, always looking for a photo book that never existed.
Yeah.
So this is my thing. Now, I didn't think of this until I watched it yesterday because it didn't hit me until yesterday. Was this Evan's life the whole fucking time? And all of that shit that we watched. No. Okay, talk to me.
So the reason I say yes is because remember, this is where we first see him. This is the first version of him that we know is in this hospital, right? So we know that everything that we see from that point on is something totally different. But it's all in that same vein. And that's why we end right back up at the hospital. Now, where I say no is that everything that he did up until this point happened, but because he could change everything, this is the one where he finally goes back and then he comes back too. And now you got to remember and think about this. He kills Kaylee, right? None of that other stuff ever happens because now he's going straight to the mental ward or whatever right after he kills Kaylee. So there are no journals because he can't write journals no more. It's certain memories that he don't have no more because all that stuff, he's no longer in college. He don't go to college because he's in the mental ward. So yes and no.
Yeah, because if he kills Kaylee at 8, they never blew up the thing. Right. Lenny never went through what he went through, all this type shit. So, like, because my thing was, what was so dope about that scene was the fact that he was like, there are no journals. And when he was upset about the journal, he was like, you just like your dad, angry about a photo album that never existed. So his dad, from my understanding, basically been in there since he's been born. Well, after he was born. It was after he was born. So it had to be soon after he was born. That's when his dad started figuring out this shit and trying to change shit. So then I'm like, yo, like, was this really what was going on the whole time? But he just created this whole world and this whole disease in his head of, yo, I'm trying to go back and change this situation, and I'm creating these events that that would happen to you, when you were a teenager and growing up into into college and shit like that.
To me, it wouldn't have been able to happen because if he did fake it or if it wasn't real, right, he would have never been able to come to all that anyway because Kaylee's dead. So even if this was something that he's creating in his head, say that he finally comes to and then everything in his head, he making everything right, it's still not going to make a difference because there is no real Kaylee in this world. So, you know what I'm saying? He still has to live with the fact that Kaylee's dead. So that's why I said everything that he was doing had to be real. But this is why I enjoy the butterfly effect so much, and not just the movie, just the concept of time travel, right? When you go back in time and you do anything outside of what actually happened, you don't know what changes that's going to spark. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know where you're going to end up in you know what I'm saying? You don't know none of this. So, you could have bent down and tied your shoestring on your right shoe instead of your left shoe this time. And then that could lead to a whole thing of events to where, because you tied it up on the right side, you looked up and you seen a piece of paper. It wasn't a piece of paper. It was a lottery ticket. You end up finding a lottery ticket, become a millionaire. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff is the beauty of what the butterfly effect is. In this movie, it just so happened to be everything ended up being bad. But just in general, like anything could happen. You don't know what, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what kind of layered thing is going to happen in this whole process. And the reason that is super dope that we even talking about this now is because of what Marvel is doing. Marvel is doing this whole like kind of butterfly effect, multi-universe thing, you know what I'm saying? So seeing, you know what I'm saying, like Loki and everything else, and then going back and watching this, a lot of stuff is like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of conspiracies are popping up in my head, not just about this movie, but just about time travel in general. But yeah, like, I mean, it's to me, like I said, that's the beauty of the butterfly effect, is the fact that he went back, and even like the little small minute stuff, like calling her dad a fuck bag, that changed things, you know what I'm saying, a whole different way. You know what I'm saying? Like, one small change in him doing something ended up bringing him to Back to the Future to kill, you know what I'm saying, her brother. So it's like all of these things you see that he's thinking that he can go back and make things right. But you don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have any control of that. Just because you stop in the situation at that moment doesn't mean that it's going to be other situations down the line that you can fix as well.
Yeah, because like even with every situation, like even when you think about his mom, because his mom isn't the hugest story, but he goes back one time, she's married. You know what I'm saying? He goes back another time, and you know what I'm saying, she got cancer. So it's just like, even though you're trying to basically affect, because really his focus is Kaylee. It's Kaylee, Tommy, Lenny.
Right.
But he's not realizing, even with changing what's going on with them, I'm changing my mom's fate as well. And like, this movie even makes, like, I don't know how everybody took it, but like, it even makes me, you know, because I think it's only natural to, when you watch something like this, you think about yourself, like, damn, what would I change if I go back? And it was like, if I go back, you know what I'm saying, I would be like, yo, if I can go back to my freshman year, I'd be like, you know what, this time around, I ain't sleeping through class all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fucking take this shit serious and not graduate with a 2.5 GPA. Then maybe I would have went to goddamn North Carolina State or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then within changing that, I'm changing the fate of my kids. My kids never exist anymore.
Exactly.
And it's like, so it's just like, you know, like all of the shit that you see in this movie, it's like, it makes you think twice about, damn, like, if I could go back, would I change something? Because then you have to realize every little thing that is going to affect. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Did you know, or did you already know, that this movie has 2 endings?
Yes.
Oh, this is so great. I'm glad to know that you know that there's 2 endings. So we're going to go with the light one first.
Okay.
So the light one is, he breaks into he asks his mom to bring the home videos. And the home video is a birthday party.
Yep.
And so they're 8 years old. He goes up to Kaylee and say, stay away from me. I hate you. If you ever talk to me again, I'll kill your whole fucking family. So the way he took this one is just the fact of, like, you stay away from me, you're just be better off. You know, just not us being friends.
They go move with their mom and basically live happily ever after.
Exactly.
They end up seeing each other in the airport. They give each other that look like, hey, I kind of know you. You look familiar. But then, you know what I'm saying, they just keep walking.
Yeah, they just keep walking. And him and Lenny ended up being friends. They ended up being roommates in college and all this type of shit.
Right.
So that's the happy ending. Now,
the director's cut.
The director's cut. That shit was brutal, my God. Like, like, the motherfucking home video is the dad filming the mom being rushed into the hospital. This motherfucker goes into his mama's belly,
kills himself
with the umbilical cord, and then you can see that shit on the screen where he pulling that shit and kills himself, and was just like, yo. And the ending still is Kaylee and Tommy going to their mom, and Lenny end up being fine now. This type shit. I can't say which one was better, because it kind of sucks. Like, I mean, the trauma that his mom probably went through of him being.
The director's cut ending was like supposed to be the ultimate ending, right? Like, this is what he had to do in order for him to stop going through what he was. Not even that, just to end it all. Because remember what his dad said. His dad said, "Yo, it ends with me."
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I felt like he took that, and with everything that he knew and everything that he's been through, I feel like he used that as a way to like, okay, we can just end all this right now, and I'm doing this for the betterment of my friends and everybody around me. But the light ending to me was the best one because it was like he he figured it out. He found a way to figure it out.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, with everything that he was going through, he got out of that situation of being in the hospital and you know what I'm saying, not having no arms and all this other stuff. He finally found a way that he can be okay with everything that was going on.
Yeah, but even with that ending, like he just basically misses out on the love of his life.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because like he loves her, but this is that situation where people don't believe in this shit. Sometimes loving somebody, you have to let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can still love them, but it's just everybody's not meant to be together. And I think that is what he realized. He was like, the best way to fix this is for me and Kaylee to not be together. I think the director's cut was definitely extreme. I mean, to watch a baby in a womb like wrapping the umbilical cord around their neck, that shit is wild. It is sick, but I see where they was coming from when they did that. So I'm glad they did come up with 2 alternate endings.
Yeah.
So are we ready for the Fire Flames?
Let's do it, my guy.
Yoga Fire! Yoga Flame!
Man, so the Fire Flames, man, for anybody that's new and listening to this, is basically where we give our rating after we reviewed the movie or TV show of the episode. And it's of course a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. All right, so I'm not even gonna stunt, man. 5. I'm not going into a long explanation, none of that. Listen, this movie is, to me, super overrated. I mean, underrated. A lot of people don't really talk about this movie, but to me, this is one of those ones where I think that Ashton Kutcher, after this, he took off for real. You know what I'm saying? I know he still had that 70s show and he had a couple other things that was going on, but I think this one really showcased his real talent. For him to play this role, especially coming off of playing Kelso, which is not an easy role to play as well. To play somebody that's stupid is very hard. But for him to play, you know what I'm saying, Kelso, and then for him to go into this, you know what I'm saying, and then in the midst of everything that's going on, I just felt like he really, you know what I'm saying, he really showed his chops in this one. And then, you know what I'm saying, the way that this movie was written, the way this movie was shot, and, you know what I'm saying, the effects and everything else, I thought that it was, everything just meshed so well. But this is one of those movies that later on down the line, like, people are going to be talking about and they're going to realize just how great this movie is.
I have to agree with you, man. 5. Period, man. Like, I ain't gonna hold you because the writing was great. They went through every scenario. They really didn't leave any stones unturned. I'm glad they gave us 2 alternate endings. I thought that was very creative.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that the writing of even pointing out the little bitty stuff that some people wouldn't really catch, like, I thought that stuff was very dope as well. So yeah, I love these type of movies like this. I love those movies where you really got to watch it and use your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like, it takes you down that wormhole of like I said, you know, I get to looking at it like, damn, man, if I change this, it makes you question the fact of, if I could go back, would I change something? Because you got to realize that domino effect of what would happen if you change something. Exactly. And I think this movie did a perfect example with that, man. So I'm gonna give it a 5 as well.
100%, man. So coming soon, man.
Yes, sir.
Coming soon. Coming soon.
So we have a special treat in store for everybody that is tuned in and listening. we talked about this for, you know what I'm saying, a couple seconds, and it was a no-brainer. As soon as we came up with the idea, you know what I'm saying, we started throwing movies out there, and we had a list of movies. We only had so many days to do it. So for the first time ever, man, this is going to be the Viewers Anonymous. What is it? Fright Fest. You can call it the Fright Fest.
Yeah, we call it the Fright Fest because I done it on the 28 minutes or less, and I call it the horror. I call it the October Horror Fest that I did last year.
This is the Viewers Anonymous first ever Fright Fest, man. We are doing nothing but horror, thriller, slasher. We doing all everything in the horror genre and subgenre of movies, man. And not only that, we got a special appreciation at the end of all of it for one of the greats. So starting off the first episode of the Fright Fest, it'll be Evil Dead, man. This Friday, we are going to do the Evil Dead, not Ash and the Evil Dead. For anybody that's wondering, it's the newer version of Evil Dead.
Yeah, the 2013 version.
Yeah. So but salute to the Ash and the Evil Dead, because that was actually a pretty funny, good movie. They had a bunch of comedy elements and horror, and I thought that was a great mix-up. But this one is this version of Evil Dead, to me, I thought it was dope because they brought back the cabin, of course. You know what I'm saying? They still had the cabin, but they made sure they added the real horror elements into this. And you know what I'm saying? You can't knock that.
Listen, even on the cover of one of the covers, it says the most terrifying film you will ever experience. When I tell you, this is the movie that when I watched this in 2013 and I said, about fucking time.
Oh, this is, it got real horror elements in this.
Man, it like you say it all the time, like I am the horror guy. And it's like we went through a long time where it was like, this movie's all right, this movie's all right. It's like they just couldn't never nail it. Like the 80s and the 90s, you know, they was doing, and it just got bad. Though this movie is a remake, they fucking killed this shit, man.
100%.
So I'm definitely excited to do this as well.
For sure, man. So yes, sir. Friday starts the Fright Fest, man. We are getting into it. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. S-Dot is gonna be on cloud 9 through every episode of one of these. I'm gonna try to keep that same energy. I'm gonna try to keep up with them. But yeah, man, this is gonna be interesting. So this is our first one that we gonna, you know, since our first time that we're gonna do this. And you know what I'm saying, we're gonna see how it pans out, man. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to follow me at Scoops Bronson on Twitter, Scoops_Bronson_TV on Instagram. Also go check out the 4-3 Pod every Wednesday. It's available on all major podcast platforms. And it's available on YouTube as well at Scoops Bronson TV, and also on the Distinctive Drip Entertainment Network. Follow the podcast on socials at ViewAnonPod on Instagram and Twitter. You can also follow us on Facebook at VA Pod Watch Group.
Yeah, and y'all can catch me at S.Foster8. That's on Instagram and Twitter. At 28 minutes or less pod. That's on Instagram. 28 minutes or less on Facebook. Still rocking with the same episode 60 of the 28 minutes or less podcast, which is The Hardest Character. So go check that out. And also, if you don't mind, if you are really, really a huge horror fan and you just can't get enough of it, man, y'all can go to the 28 minutes or less. It's episode 20, 21, 22, and 23. When I did the Oktoberfest last year, where I did the top 5 slashers of all time, me and Scoops Bronson came together and did our top 10 horror movies. of all time. That was episode 21. 22, I did supernatural horror movies. And 23, I did the whole franchise of Halloween solo. So
speaking of, man, how do you feel about the new Halloween that's coming out, man?
I seen the trailer. I seen the extended trailer. It looked like Michael on this shit, man. Like,
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. How long is it gonna take for him to finally kill? You know what I'm saying? His sister.
I got a feeling. I got a feeling he gonna get her this time.
Okay.
I got a feeling.
I'm banking on it because I'm getting sick and tired of this, man. She not gonna be able to run much longer, man. He gonna have to wait for her to be in the wheelchair before he finally catch her.
But this is the thing, though. If you remember, like, actually, I killed the new one.
Yeah, I remember.
Before.
I remember.
That was
the Rob Zombie one, right?
No, it wasn't the Rob Zombie one. No, I killed Halloween because I did an episode where I finally seen the Halloween the first remake. And I killed the whole thing because I was like, yo, they disregarded Halloween 4 or 5.
Oh, H2O. That's the one with the you talking about the one with the
it came out 2018.
The one that Schultz was supposed to be in.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that one.
And see, I killed it initially because I thought that it was fucked up that, like, okay, it was episode 4. It was episode 4 of this 28 minutes or less. I killed it because they disregarded because they said that he was locked up for 40 years. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Even if I wouldn't have been mad. They could disregard it 4 and 5. I'm fine with that. And just acknowledge Halloween H2O and say that he was locked up for 20 years. But when they said he was locked up for 40, it's like, hold on, so now you telling me that all of this Halloween knowledge in my head, I'm supposed to forget all of it?
But see, this is the thing. Remember in H2O, she had a son.
That's what I know.
And then in this one, it was all daughters. So
exactly.
It made sense. It made sense as to why he would be locked up for 40 years instead of 20. Because then it's gonna be at that point we're gonna be like, yo, where the fuck is the son at? You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. So I understood why they did it though.
Yeah, I understood why they did it because you also got to understand this. Well, actually, she had one daughter.
Yeah, she had the daughter and the granddaughter.
But this is the thing though. In Halloween 4 and 5, that was her daughter, but she gave her up for adoption.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So in all actuality,
it just seemed like at this point they just throwing it out there just to have a damn Michael Myers movie. That's why I said none of it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and see, and when I went through that whole thing, like when I redid it, and during the Horror Fest, when I redid it, dude, it was because I figured out something that I didn't know because I always thought a Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, it fit, but it didn't fit.
Right.
But they tied everything into it. I think that was technically was supposed to be the last one, but people love Michael Myers so much they kept coming back because what they did was they explained to you. Because they brought back Tommy Doyle for number 1. That was your boy. What's his name? 40 and up. Not 40 and up. Ant-Man.
4-year-old virgin?
Ant-Man. What's his name? Are you fucking kidding me? How can I forget his name?
I don't know. It's blanking me too. But keep going.
But anyway, that was Paul Rudd. That was his first movie.
Okay.
But anyway, he plays Tommy Doyle, which is the kid that's in Halloween 1, the little kid that was always scared of the boogeyman. That's him in in The Curse of Michael Myers. But what they tied together was the league. Is it the League of the Thorn or the something of the Thorn? The League of the Thorn or something like that. The leader of it was this guy named Dr. Wynn. Dr. Wynn was the one that really had Michael Myers doing this shit. But this is the crazy part about Dr. Wynn. You seen Dr. Wynn, but you didn't know it was him.
Mm-hmm.
You remember in the very first one, the 78 version, when the doctor, when Michael Myers first broke out,
Mm-hmm.
and Dr. Loomis is walking out the hospital and he's talking to this guy, and he was like, he's telling him he's going to Hatfield. He was like, how would he get to Hatfield? He don't know how to drive. He was like, maybe somebody gave him lessons. He was doing pretty well last night. Remember when he had that conversation with that guy? That's Dr. Wynn. The whole time, Dr. Wynn was the one that taught him how to drive. He was the one who did all the fucking shit. But they only showed him for a second in Halloween 1. Okay. So that was dope. But you got me now. You got me now. My Halloween
man. Listen, that's a preview. You know what I'm saying, of what's to come, man, for the rest of this month. So y'all stay tuned. You know what I'm saying. Y'all keep listening, and man, we're gonna bring some more heat, more fire for y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying. If you're new here, subscribe. If you've been here, you know what I'm saying, make sure you share with a friend. Tell everybody you know. With that being said, man, like this in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.